Hey, it's zapanta here, and I'm coming to you from the beaches of Costa Rica in Playa Flamingo, where I live. I'm going on a run. This is actually my second video, so this is part of the vlog challenge. If you want to check out what that's about, hit the link above. It'll take you to the first video, kind of explaining what this is all about this journey, and also how you can join me and get started with the vlog challenge, which is a lot of fun. So today's topic, day 2, is to share your story. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I have been through some struggles recently, which I've kind of, I've been kind of quiet, and I wanted to share what exactly has been going on with me. I maybe in some ways disappeared a little bit. I definitely wasn't out doing as much in terms of video and live stuff. And it's because I was going through some emotional stuff, which, I guess one of my coping mechanisms is to just deal with it on my own. Something I learned, reach out to people. And I have throughout, but, I guess I had to just work through something. So what is it that happened? I mean, kind of to give you a short little play-by-play as to, what's going on, and even a little bit of my journey so far. I moved with my husband to the beaches of Costa Rica from Toronto. We started this entrepreneur's journey. We live on the beach. We've actually just celebrated 2 years being job-free, and it's awesome. And we live the internet lifestyle. So if you want to know more about that, there's a link below telling you about, if you want to get started that way and you want to start living that way, it'll show you how. There's a video in there. But in terms of me, so I mean, this entrepreneur's journey has been definitely the hardest thing I've ever done in terms of personal growth. I struggled with low self-confidence and low self-esteem for years and years. My arm's starting to hurt. And let me just see here. And pretty much, I overcame a lot of that, and it's thanks to doing something like this, doing a challenge. There's a boot camp with the Superwomen, with Layla Black, and it really helped me to push. I pushed through a lot of personal comfort zones, and I mean, that's the journey anyway as an entrepreneur. I think it's constantly pushing yourself outside of your limits, right? Outside of your comfort zone. It's not necessarily good to just be very comfortable. Things stagnate, and I don't know, it's just doesn't lead to growth or progress. So, I broke through a lot of personal stuff. But then what happened is, kind of throughout like this past summer, it's November 2013 right now, I had a lot of, family stuff come up, and just a lot of fears that I almost, I was surprised for them to come out. Wasn't expecting to face even deeper stuff, and it's definitely like a freaking onion. Sometimes things hit you slap in the face and you don't even expect it, and that's kind of what happened to me. So it was we've all probably been in a situation, like you may even be in a situation like this right now, where you feel like everything is hitting you from all directions. And I did feel that way. I'm definitely grateful for everything Romeo and I have done with our life, but it's been challenging in terms of really stepping into the person I've always wanted to be. And I definitely have the confidence I've always wanted, but it was also me facing a lot of my personal fears that I maybe grew up with. And what happened was my dad passed away this summer, and I had a kind of a up and down relationship with him for years in my life. We were estranged for years on and off, and I kind of thought that I had dealt with a lot of stuff, and I mean, not to say, I guess you can't really know what to expect when someone close to you passes away, and I definitely didn't. And it just hit me like a truck. I felt like I got hit by a truck, and I reeled. I kind of knew it was coming. He had cancer for a year and a half, but I had a lot of unresolved issues there. There was no closure. We hadn't spoken in like 2 years. He really didn't know about my life. From me personally, he had heard about it, but we hadn't spoken. And I struggled a lot with all of that. But I thought I let it go, and so it hit me, you know. And one thing that happened was I actually confronted a lot of my fears that I had in relationship to him. I was afraid of becoming like him, and I had realized that I had really judged him all his life. And when he passed, I realized that those judgments were really, you know, he lived his life and it was just the way it was. And I'm not one to be in a place to judge. What I realized though was those judgments were of myself. You know, you always, however you perceive the world or other people is truly a reflection of yourself. And sometimes that's hard to admit. I definitely had a hard time admitting it. But one huge thing that I realized was that for pretty much my whole life, I had categorized myself and split myself in two. I thought there was a bad part of me that I associated with my dad. Sounds horrible, right? And I had a good part of me that I associated with my mom. And they were just like characteristics or personality traits in me. And I did not realize this until he passed away. I didn't realize. It's like it was right in front of my face my whole life, but I just wasn't aware of it. I wasn't conscious of it. So when he passed, that hit me. I realized I had created this kind of division in myself and this perception of myself and judgments of myself relating to my parents. And it was crazy. And I was like, what the hell? You know, I can't believe that I lived like that I believed these things about myself, and that, you know, I essentially had split myself. These things were bad, these things were good. You know, I was afraid of becoming certain things, and certain things, you know, I thought were great. It's not that simple, you know. I'm a whole person, and I can change my beliefs at any moment. And that's what happened. All of my beliefs crumbled. They were shattered this summer. Everything, my belief structures, my belief systems, it's like they were the ones hit by a truck. And I realized I can't live like that anymore. I can't categorize or judge myself according to these characteristics which I ascribe to my parents. My parents have their own life, you know. My dad was a certain way, and I'm not one to judge. I don't know his deepest thoughts and fears. Same with my mom. I don't know her, you know, deepest, you know, those thoughts within yourself. All I know is me. All I know is what I have in me. All I know is the power that I can tap into. All I know is that I am a whole person, and that I can literally create any kind of life I want. And I've proven that to myself because of the dramatic change that Romeo and I have made by moving to the beach. If someone had told me that we'd be living here, I wouldn't have believed them a few years ago, because our life was very ordered, and it was a certain way for a long time. And so when I hit these beliefs this past summer, it just really made me just crumble, and everything inside, you know, everyone always says to just go into those feelings, let them process. That's what I did. And I wanted to share with you that if you're going through something, if there's fears you have within, don't ignore them. Don't suppress them. Don't go around them. Don't try to think that they're not real. Face the truth. And the truth is harsh. What's that quote? You know, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. I got pissed off. I got really, really pissed off. And you know what? It felt good. It felt good to just first get really pissed off, you know, have some temper tantrums, cry, just let it all out. And then this immense feeling of relief came, where I realized I had let go. And I feel this different kind of peace now. I feel more balanced. I feel a lot more centered. I don't have this split thing in me. And like an onion, I know there's probably more, and that's okay. And that's just life. Life continues to throw things at you. Some things you can control, some things you can't. Like the death of my father, I couldn't control that circumstance, and I just had to deal with it. But I did have to face the things that came up in me because of that circumstance. So if you are in a situation like, in a hard situation, just face the truth, face it. It's tough, it's scary, but you will be transformed, like I feel. So, I mean, that's kind of long-winded, I apologize. It's a little bit longer video than I expected to shoot, but had to get it out. So again, if you want to take part in this challenge, hit the link, and I'm gonna keep sharing whatever my journey will be for the next 50 days through video, through this vlog challenge. Leave me your comments. Let me know how you feel about this. Connect with me. I'm just a regular person, just living my life, tackling things. It's true that certain things may appear a certain way, but it doesn't mean they're perfect. It just means that you learn to deal with things. You learn to accept things. You learn to overcome things, and it's constant. It doesn't end. That's life, and that's the incredible journey of life. That's why there's growth and progress. So again, I'm getting off topic here on an excursion. I'm gonna go do my run on the beach now, and I hope to hear from you. Zapanta, Pura Vida, hit the link, connect with me. See ya.